Every mechanic has a mental list of cars they have seen survive everything. Rust, neglect, 300,000 miles, rental abuse, bad owners. These 8 cars appear on that list consistently. Nobody is buying them right now. That is the whole point. Stick around because number 1 is the car mechanics quietly respect most. Number 8, Hyundai Elantra 2004 to 2006. Most buyers laugh at an old Hyundai, but mechanics who worked through those years know some of these little Elantras took abuse, neglect, and commuter miles better than their reputation ever allowed. I am not calling it fancy. I am calling it honest. The 2.0-liter Beta 4-cylinder is the reason it belongs here. It is port-injected, naturally aspirated, easy to reach, and not buried under turbo plumbing, direct injection hardware, or expensive modules that turn a cheap compact into a shop nightmare. With the manual transmission, it is about as basic as a daily car gets. The conventional automatic can survive too, as long as the fluid is clean, the shifts are smooth, and the owner did not cook it in traffic with old coolant. What makes it hard to kill is the low-stress layout. The car is light, the engine is simple, the brakes are small, the tires are cheap, and the suspension is not dragging around 2 tons of crossover weight. Mechanics know the failures are usually predictable. Timing belt neglect, cooling system neglect, rust, worn mounts, and tired sensors. None of that is mysterious. The market ignores it because old Hyundai badge bias is still real. People remember cheap interiors, plain paint, and early Korean car jokes, then walk right past a clean one that could be a cheaper commuter than the Civic they overpay for. The professional secret is that the engine itself is usually not the scary part. A mechanic checks the belt history, watches the temperature gauge, listens for idle quality, and looks underneath before worrying about anything else. The current price is usually about $2,500 to $6,500, depending on rust, mileage, and service history. Compare that to a worn Corolla or Civic with the same miles and a higher asking price, and suddenly this little Hyundai makes more sense. The inspection is simple. Confirm timing belt and water pump service, check cooling fan operation, look at coolant color, inspect rust underneath, test warm transmission shifts, and make sure the idle stays steady with the air conditioning on. If the seller says it only overheats in traffic, we walk away. Choose this car when you want the cheapest simple commuter on this list, and you care more about survival than image. One more reason mechanics respect it is the parts cost. A timing belt kit, radiator, struts, or brake pads do not feel like a mortgage payment, and that matters when a cheap commuter is supposed to stay cheaper, steady, and predictable, instead of becoming a payment in disguise. If the Elantra is the badge bias bargain, number 7 is the quiet luxury sedan mechanics trust because Toyota overbuilt the bones. Number 7. Lexus ES 330, 2004 to 2006. Parked beside newer luxury cars, the Lexus ES 330 looks like a retired accountant's sedan, and that is exactly why it can be such a reliable, comfortable, overlooked buy under 12 grand. The public sees old leather, soft styling, and no modern screen. Mechanics see Toyota family hardware with a quieter cabin wrapped around it. The 3.3-liter V6 is smooth, understressed, and built for long highway life. It does not need a turbo to make power. It does not use a CVT, and it does not chase performance tricks that punish the second owner. The 5-speed automatic is conventional, and when the fluid is clean and shifts feel smooth, it fits the whole personality of the car. What makes it hard to kill is not one magic part. It is the whole lazy workload. The engine is not working hard, the suspension is not pretending to be a race car, and the car was built for quiet miles instead of showroom drama. Nobody is buying it right now because younger buyers think it looks old. Luxury shoppers want newer screens, and Toyota buyers often search Camry or Avalon before they ever type ES330. That demand gap is the opportunity. Mechanics know the ES is not a cheap Lexus to neglect, but a good one is easy to trust. Timing belt and water pump proof matters. Valve cover leaks are a common old car check. Worn mounts and suspension can make one feel tired, but those are known repairs, not mystery failures. A mechanic can drive one around the block and know fast if it has been cared for. Current price usually sits around $4,500 to $10,000 for clean drivers, with very low mileage examples sometimes pushing over budget. I like this car for the guy who wants silence, soft seats, and a drivetrain most independent Toyota shops understand. It is not the cheapest fuel bill on the list, but comfort has value when you drive real miles. Inspection should be boring and careful. Ask for timing belt and water pump proof, check valve cover seepage, test worm shifts, inspect mounts, suspension, tires, brakes, and air conditioning. Then check every power window and seat switch, because old luxury features still cost money when ignored. Choose this car when you want old-school Lexus comfort with Toyota family durability and no interest in impressing anyone at the light. The other quiet advantage is resale discipline. These cars are already old enough that clean condition matters more than year, so you can buy one, maintain it, and not watch value fall like a newer luxury sedan. That makes the ownership feel calmer, safer, and more honest. The Lexus is the quiet comfort pick, but number 6 is the big American utility rig mechanics see survive brutal miles. Number 6, Chevrolet Tahoe, 2000 to 2006, 5.3 V8. Gas prices scare regular buyers away from old Tahoes, but mechanics know the early 2000 models with the 5.3 can take punishing, ugly, high-mile use and still come back asking for basic parts. That 5.3-liter Vortec V8 is the heart of the case. It is simple, common, and supported by a parts network so deep you can find coils, sensors, alternators, starters, water pumps, brake parts, suspension pieces, and even used engines without hunting for weeks. This platform worked for families, fleets, contractors, rural owners, boat guys, and anyone who needed something that could take miles without acting delicate. What makes it hard to kill is not that nothing breaks. Things break. The point is that they break in normal ways with normal parts, and mechanics already know the pattern. The market is not buying them because fuel cost is obvious, size is intimidating, and rough ex-fleet or neglected trucks give the whole group a bad name. Buyers see a thirsty SUV. Mechanics see a proven V8 with room under the hood and a cheap parts counter behind it. The professional secret is that the engine is rarely the scary piece. Rust, brake lines, neglected transmissions, transfer cases, rear axle noise, weak front-end parts, and hacked wiring are what kill these trucks. A clean body and calm drivetrain matter more than shiny paint or big wheels. Current price usually runs about $4,000 to $11,500 for decent drivers, with rough high-mile trucks, lower and unusually clean examples higher. You do not buy this for low fuel cost. You buy it when you need utility, towing ability, winter confidence, and an engine that can shrug off hard use when maintained. I have seen these come into shops with 250,000 miles, a cracked dash, tired seats, and old contractor stickers, then leave with a fuel pump, brake job, or front-end parts ready for more. That is the whole story. Inspect the frame, brake lines, rocker areas, oil pressure, coolant leaks, warm transmission shifts, rear axle noise, four-wheel drive engagement, and front suspension. Check tire age too, because big tires are not cheap. If the underside is rotten, the engine's reputation means nothing. Choose this car when you need big utility, cheap parts, and a proven V8 more than small car fuel economy. A mechanic also knows when to avoid one fast. Big tires, lift kits, loud exhaust, and sloppy wiring usually mean somebody used the truck harder than the ad admits. Stock wheels, plain tires, clean fluids, and a quiet idle are the boring clues we actually want. And if the Tahoe survives by being common and overused, number 5 survives because its engine has one of the best reputations GM ever built. Number 5. Buick Park Avenue, 2000 to 2005. Sleepy old sedans can hide strong mechanical secrets, and the Buick Park Avenue is one of those cars mechanics remember because the 3.8 V6 kept dragging tired bodies home. Nobody calls it exciting. That is fine. Exciting cars often have expensive stories. For the safest version, target the base Park Avenue with the low stress, naturally aspirated 3.8-liter V6, common 4-speed automatic, normal brakes, normal steering, normal suspension, and a repair history every older GM mechanic knows well. What makes it feel impossible to kill is the engine's lazy torque and simple design. It does not have to work hard to move the car, and it does not need turbo boost, direct injection, or exotic parts to do its job. The market ignores it because it looks like a retirement home sedan. Younger buyers avoid it, dealers bury it in the back row, and most people think old Buick means boring. That boring label is exactly why the value is there. Mechanics know the truth. The 3.8 can take more neglect than many engines, but it still has weak points. Intake gasket issues, coolant neglect, old plastic fittings, valve cover leaks, Brake line rust and worn suspension are the checks. The difference is that none of those are shocking. A mechanic can smell coolant, look around the intake, inspect the lines, drive it warm, and know whether the car is a keeper or a headache. Current price usually runs about $2,500 to $7,000 for clean drivers, with ultra-low-mile cars sometimes higher because grandpa-owned examples still bring buyers out. The Park Avenue is also one of the most comfortable cheap cars you can still buy. Wide seats, soft ride, quiet highway manners, and a trunk big enough for real life make it feel plush in a way. Modern small crossovers do not. It is not fuel sipping, but it is also not trying to be a German luxury car with 1,000 hidden modules. Inspect coolant smell, intake area brake lines, underbody rust, transmission behavior, power windows, locks, and air conditioning. Take it on a long enough drive to get hot, because a short loop hides problems. If the temperature stays stable, the shifts stay smooth, and the underside is clean, you may have found the kind of car mechanics smile at quietly. Choose this car when you want cheap comfort, low-stress highway miles, and an engine most mechanics already know by heart. If this mechanic-level used car advice helps, subscribe. We cut through hype and show the cars that actually survive ownership. The other thing mechanics notice is how gently these cars were often used. Many Park Avenues lived easy highway lives with older owners, not stoplight abuse or teenage experiments. That history can make a softer, cleaner, longer-lasting buy if the records match the story. The Buick is the parts counter survivor, but number 4 proves a small Honda family coupe can still take serious miles when owners leave it alone. Number 4. Acura RSX, 2002 to 2006, base model first. Clean small coupes are getting harder to find, and that is why the Acura RSX makes mechanics look twice when one rolls in stock, quiet, and unmolested. A clean RSX is not just a fun little car. It is a Honda family survivor hiding under an Acura badge. The base model uses the K20A3, while the Type S uses stronger, higher output K-series versions. So we keep the facts straight. The reason it belongs here is that these naturally aspirated K-series engines are chain-driven, durable, easy to service, and built to rev when oil is kept full. No turbo, no direct injection, no CVT, no complicated luxury drivetrain waiting to ambush the second owner. What makes it hard to kill is the combination of engine design, lightweight, and huge Honda knowledge. Parts are everywhere. Forums have covered every repair, and independent shops know the platform. Nobody is buying the right ones because the public sees tuner risk. They see loud exhaust, cheap intakes, slam suspension, rough paint, and assume every RSX has been abused. Mechanics see the split. A hacked Type S can be a money pit. A stock base car with records can be a reliable commuter that still feels lively. That is the professional difference buyers miss. Mechanics check oil use, chain noise, mounts, clutch feel, gear engagement, cooling fans, accident repairs, and rust before trusting one. Current price is usually about $4,500 to $12,000 for base drivers and higher-mile clean cars, with nice Type S examples often above budget. The inspection is where discipline saves you. Avoid hacked wiring, cheap intake setups, missing heat shields, bad coilovers, and sellers who talk more about mods than maintenance. Test the clutch, listen for gear grind, check warm idle, look at tire wear, run the air conditioning, and inspect the front end for crash repairs. If the car has mismatched panels and a story about how it was just a bumper, bring a magnet, a flashlight, and skepticism. The RSX survives best when left close to stock. Keep oil clean, cooling healthy, and suspension normal, and it can take high miles without feeling like a penalty box. It also gives better cargo space than people expect because of the hatch. Choose this car when you want Honda K-series durability in a small coupe, and you are disciplined enough to buy stock, not flashy. Mechanically, the best RSX is the one that still feels factory. The shifter should feel tight, the engine should pull cleanly, and the cooling fans should cycle without drama. If it smells like clutch, rattles over bumps, or has warning lights, the cute badge means nothing. Number 3 goes the opposite direction, because mechanics respect it for quiet family utility and a drivetrain that just keeps working. Number 3. Honda CR-V, 2002 to 2006. Basic grocery runners do not usually become mechanic legends, but the second-generation Honda CR-V earned respect by surviving school runs, snow, rough roads, and high mileage without turning into modern crossover drama. The K24 four-cylinder is the main reason. It is naturally aspirated, chain-driven, easy to service, and strong enough that the little SUV does not feel strained in normal driving. The automatic is conventional. Manual examples exist, and the all-wheel drive system is much simpler than the electronic maze found in newer crossovers. No turbo, no CVT, no tiny boosted engine working too hard. What makes it hard to kill is that the drivetrain can keep going even when the body looks tired, the seats are worn, and the paint has lost its fight with the sun. Nobody is buying them like they should because they are old, noisy, plain inside, and the rear spare tire styling makes them look dated. Many shoppers want newer screens and softer cabins, so they walk into newer small SUVs with weaker transmissions and higher repair risk. Mechanics know the CR-V secret. The engine is not usually the problem. Rust is. Neglected rear differential fluid is. Air conditioning compressor failure is. Worn suspension, old cooling parts, and wheel bearings are the real checks. A clean CR-V with records can be safer money than a newer crossover with unknown drivetrain issues. Current price usually runs about $4,000 to $10,000 for usable drivers, with clean, low-mile examples sometimes higher. The professional inspection starts underneath. Look at rear areas, rocker panels, subframes, brake lines, and suspension mounting points. If it has all-wheel drive, ask about the rear differential fluid. During the drive, listen for wheel bearing hum, suspension clunks, and any harsh shifts when warm. Test the air conditioning and cooling fans because Honda air conditioning repairs can hurt on a cheap car. Also check the rear door, spare tire mount, hatch seals, and cargo floor for water. The reason mechanics like them is not romance. It is repeated evidence. They see these cars come in with 250,000 miles, worn interiors, and owners who barely know what a differential is, yet the engine still sounds steady. That does not mean buy a neglected one. It means buy the clean one before somebody else figures it out. Choose this car when you want a small SUV that can take daily family duty, bad weather, and high miles without modern crossover drama. Mechanics also like how useful the body is without being huge. It carries tools, kids, dogs, and groceries, yet still uses ordinary tires and brakes. That gives it a practical edge over bigger SUVs because it survives real life without punishing every maintenance receipt. The CR-V is the small utility survivor, but number 2 is the full-size Toyota that mechanics respect when fuel cost does not scare the buyer. Number 2, Toyota Sequoia, 2001 to 2007. Most buyers see a thirsty old SUV, but mechanics see a Toyota truck drivetrain that can take serious punishment when rust does not get there first. The first-generation Toyota Sequoia is big, heavy, and not shy about using fuel, so let us be honest right away. This is not the pick for a short commute and an empty driveway. It is the pick for family hauling, towing, rough roads, long trips, and people who need space more than a small car. The 4.7-liter 2 UZFE V8 is the foundation. It is overbuilt, smooth, and shared with hardworking Toyota trucks and SUVs. The automatic transmission is strong when serviced, and the chassis was made for heavier work than normal commuting. What makes it hard to kill is that the drivetrain is not working at the edge of its ability. It has a reserve. It has cooling capacity. It has part support. It has a reputation for mechanics learned through years of seeing these things show up with huge miles and still leave under their own power. Nobody is buying them right now because fuel economy scares people, size scares people, and old SUV maintenance sounds expensive. Mechanics know the fuel bill is real, but they also know the engine is rarely the weak link. Timing belt service matters. Water pump service matters. Frame rust is the deal breaker. Lower ball joints, front suspension, brakes, tires, radiator age, exhaust rust, and four-wheel drive operation all need attention. Current price usually runs about $5,000 to $12,000 for driver quality examples, with rust-free, low-mile trucks higher. That means you must shop like a mechanic, not like a dreamer. A shiny Sequoia with a rusty frame is a trap. A faded one with records, clean frame rails, and timing belt proof can be a family tank. Inspect frame rails, rear areas, brake lines, lower ball joints, steering feel, cooling system, four-wheel drive engagement, transmission shifts, and tire wear. Check for leaks after a long drive, not just in the seller's driveway. If the rear suspension sags, the brakes pulse, or the frame flakes in sheets, price it hard or leave. The Sequoia earns its spot because it survived the kind of use that destroys weaker SUVs. Kids, trailers, heat, hills, gravel, and owners who treat maintenance like a suggestion. Choose this car when you need big family utility, towing ability, and a Toyota V8 that mechanics know can survive hard miles. Subscribe if you want real mechanic picks, not trendy lists. We name the engines, weak points, prices, and years that actually matter. The smart buyer also checks how it was used. A Sequoia that towed heavily every weekend needs more caution than a family cruiser with long highway miles. Look for receiver hitch wear, cooked transmission fluid, uneven tires, and sagging suspension, because tough does not mean invincible. But number one is not big, flashy, or rugged. It earns the top spot because mechanics know Toyota built it like a cost-no-object sedan. Number 1. Lexus LS 430, 2001 to 2006. A good Lexus LS 430 does not feel like an old luxury gamble. It feels like Toyota is showing off, and that is why mechanics quietly respect it so much. This is not a cheap luxury car in the normal scary way. This is an over-engineered sedan built when Lexus still seemed obsessed with silence, durability, and making every part feel like it had extra life built in. The 4.3-liter 3UZFE V8 is smooth, unstressed, and made for long highway miles. The automatics are strong when serviced, with later cars getting the smoother 6-speed. And the whole car has that heavy, quiet bank vault feel that cheaper luxury cars pretend to have. What makes it hard to kill is the combination of low engine stress, strong drivetrain, serious build quality, and mechanical systems that shops actually understand. Nobody is buying them like they should because buyers fear luxury repair bills, old electronics, fuel cost, air suspension on some trims, and the idea that every used luxury car is a trap. That fear is not crazy, but it is also not the full truth. Mechanics know the LS 430 is expensive when neglected, not because the core car is weak. They look for timing belt and water pump proof, power steering leaks, control arm wear, old tires, dead electronics, water intrusion, and leaking air suspension if equipped. They also know the engine itself is rarely the thing that kills one. Current price usually runs about $7,000 to $12,000 for driver quality examples, with rough cars cheaper and pristine low-mile cars above budget. Here is the difference between a smart LS buy and a disaster. The smart buy has receipts, normal tires, working electronics, dry carpet, stable temperature, smooth shifts, and a seller who knows the timing belt story. The disaster has shiny paint, mystery warning lights, dead suspension, cheap tires, and probably just a sensor written all over it. Inspect it like an adult. Test every window, seat, lock, mirror, climate function, radio, and trunk release. Drive it long enough to get fully warm. Listen for suspension knocks, feel for steering play, check for leaks, and verify the timing belt. Avoid neglected air suspension unless the price truly reflects the repair. This car earns number 1 because it combines mechanical strength, comfort, parts support, and professional respect better than anything else here. It can make newer cars feel fragile, not because it is new, but because it was built with enough margin to age gracefully. Choose this car when you want the most over-engineered sedan on the list, and you are willing to inspect luxury maintenance honestly before buying. Mechanics also respect the way these cars age inside. Good switches, quiet motors, solid doors, and a cabin that still feels silent tell you, Lexus spent money where cheap luxury brands cut corners. That matters because durability is not just the engine, it is the whole machine. Mechanics know what fails, what does not, and why a cared-for LS can keep rolling long after flashier cars have been scrapped. If this saves you from one weak used car, subscribe. We show what mechanics trust before the market wakes up. Buyer cheat sheet. Fast and practical, because impossible to kill does not mean impossible to ruin. The Hyundai Elantra is the badge bias compact. Best when you want the cheapest simple commuter and timing belt proof. Lexus ES 330 is the comfort sedan. Best when you want Toyota family durability without paying Camry hype prices. Chevrolet Tahoe is the utility survivor. Best when you need big space and cheap 5.3 parts. Buick Park Avenue is the old-school comfort sleeper. Best when you want the 3.8 V6 and low repair drama. Acura RSX is the K-Series coupe. Best only when stock, clean, and not abused by tuner owners. Honda CR-V is the small SUV survivor. Best when rust is clean and the K24 has service history. Toyota Sequoia is the big V8 family tank. best when the frame is solid and the timing belt is documented. Lexus LS 430 is the over-engineered sedan, best when you want maximum durability, and can inspect luxury car maintenance honestly. Main rule: impossible to kill does not mean impossible to destroy. Every car here can be ruined by rust, overheating, low oil, ignored timing belts, bad tires, bad transmissions, or owners who never fix small problems. The label only applies to clean examples with the right engine, the right service history, and no scary story underneath. If the seller cannot show records, you lower the price in your head. If the coolant is brown, you get cautious. If the transmission shifts harshly, you do not pray. You walk or price the repair today. Look underneath before you look at paint. Tires, brakes, fluid color, rust, leaks, warning lights, and title history tell the real story. A mechanic does not trust a car because it has a good reputation. He trusts it after it starts cold, idles steady, drives straight, stops clean, and does not smell hot after a long drive. That is the difference between a survivor and a future regret. Final rule: do not confuse famous engines with automatic approval. A great engine inside a rusty body, slipping transmission, or overheated car is still a bad deal. The survivor label belongs to the whole car, not just the name on the valve cover. That is how mechanics think. They do not buy legends. They buy proof, condition, records, and a test drive that feels honest. Click the video on your screen before these mechanics disappear. Subscribe for reliable engines, cheaper ownership, and the inspection checks that expose weak cars fast.